guys, welcome back to my channel. So Huda Beauty has brought out her own brow product. Woo! I'm so excited. I have actually tried it already, but I wanted to show you on camera what it's like, and I'm going to swatch the 3 shades that I have for you and compare them to some of the best high-end brow products on the market. So Huda Beauty's Bomb Brows pencil comes in 8 shades, and I have shades 6, 7 and 8. Now that they're out of the boxes, let me just show you what the packaging is like. So they're just nice and sleek, and they've got that sort of triangular shape that her eyeliners and mascaras have. So this is her eyeliner and this is the eyebrow pencil. So it's definitely way smaller. Then if I show you the mascara in comparison, you can see it just goes down in size. So the Bomb Brows pencil is the thinnest, great for fitting in your makeup bag, love it. Also, the reason why it's thin is because the actual pencil is 0.9 millimeters thick, or thin, shall we say. It's an ultra fine tip, and that is honestly really nice and thin and tiny. So on one end, obviously, you have the pencil, and then on the other end, you have a spoolie, which is a must. Okay, so I've swatched all 3 shades. This is number 6, which is rich brown. This is number 7, which is black brown. And this is number 8, which is soft black. I actually love how all the shades are still quite subtle. Also, one more thing to point out, because the tip is so fine, don't apply too much pressure because the tip of the pencil will snap and break, and you don't want that. So it's also really important not to have too much of the tip poking out of the actual pencil. So try and have a little bit at a time so you can control it and it doesn't break. So my eyebrow shade is probably more like black brown, but the shade difference between black brown and rich brown isn't massive. It's just more like an undertone thing. And I personally always like to go with a shade or an undertone that is slightly lighter than my actual brows, just so that it doesn't look heavy or just too much. I like them to look nice and natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and start by brushing up my brows so that they're all going in the same direction. And this is basically how I always like to do my brows. And then I like to brush them in the direction that they'll be in. I personally don't like having brows basically that look like that. It's just not for me, okay? I'm no Cara Delevingne. All right. Now that I've brushed them through, I'm actually gonna bring you guys in a little bit. Too close. Also, if my skin looks a bit dry, it's because I've just done my base powder and I haven't spritzed my face with anything, and I'm still in the middle of doing makeup, so just a heads up. I think this is the closest I can bring you, and I feel pretty close. So I'm gonna do this eyebrow on camera. Please don't mind any hairs, I need to thread them, okay? And now I'm gonna go in with the nice ultra fine tip. All you have to do is kind of just screw it out, and you can see how fine that is. That is just tiny. I'm gonna screw it back in because, like I said, I don't want too much of this out of the actual pencil. Also, what I'm about to show you is how I do my brows, and I like to do them nice and natural. So I always start at the tail, and for me, I just need to sort of make my shape. I like my brows to be shaped slightly more rounded at the arch, so I'll fill that in, and I'm just taking it in really short strokes to get hair-like strokes. Can you see the shade is actually working really nicely with my natural brows? And I'll just use the spoolie to like brush my hairs back in place. With this really fine tip, you can get a really nice sharp tail to the brow, and then I'll just see like any areas that need to be filled in. I don't really do too much in the brow, but for me here, there's like a slight gap, so I'll just straighten up that gap at the bottom here. And then I find that my brows aren't the same level at the start, so I just lightly, really light pressure. And also, when I'm using light pressure, I'm holding the pencil at the end. I'm not holding it here to do my brows. I'm holding it right at the end, almost like a makeup brush. And that way I'm gonna get light pressure. Just slowly feathering that in, like so. And then I'm just gonna wind up a little bit more on the pencil. And this is where I like to do the front of my brow. So I like to draw in some hairs at the front because they don't really grow that well there. From the bottom, ooh. I'll just do really short strokes. Do you know what? I have found that this pencil gives me the best light strokes at the front of my brows because it's so fine, and you can just at the bottom, I always like to soften it. And that's basically how I fill it in with the pencil. I am still gonna apply concealer under my brow to carve it out, just to make it look extra neat. And I'll just take like any concealer and I'll use a flat brush and I'll just take it all the way along underneath and follow the shape that we've created. And I only conceal the bottom of my brow. I don't do it on the top. I don't like that look really anymore. I personally just think they only need cleaning up on the bottom, and your brows will look far more natural but still put together if you just do it at the bottom. So can you see? So this is the difference between a done and complete brow and a brow with absolutely no product in it. So just from a little bit further away, now that you're not up in my personal space, you can again just compare the two brows and you can see what they look like. I love this brow pencil. I think it's freaking amazing. It literally helped me to do my brows in no time at all. Just because the tip is so thin, you have so much control. I'm gonna go ahead and do this one off camera, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna be comparing the Huda Beauty Bomb Brows to some of the most popular brow products in the game at the minute. So I've just finished doing my eye makeup, and now it's time to compare Huda Beauty's Bomb Brows to some of the most popular high-end eyebrow products. And let's see which one is gonna take the win. So let me give you some final points on Huda Beauty's Bomb Brow Pencil. And that is, I've got my little booklet here, that it lasts up to 24 hours. It's smudge proof, waterproof, fade proof, and pillow proof. Not that you should be sleeping with your makeup on, but you know it happens. And basically all around life proof is what it says. And it's also vegan friendly with sustainable and recyclable outer packaging too, which is really good. Now I kind of want to compare the tip of the pencil the most. I feel like all of these brow pencils are really long lasting, long wearing, they stay put. Trust me, my head has been dunked in a pool in Vegas using Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz before, and my brows stayed the hell put. And also, yeah, Benefit is really long lasting, and so is the Fenty one. So on that front, we're covered. I just want to see and compare shades, the tip, and which one basically is the easiest to use. So I'm going to be swatching them on my hand. Let's start off with Fenty Beauty's Brow MVP. So all of these have got a spoolie on one end and the pencil on the other, but Fenty Beauty is the only one that's got like a brush like this on one end. So instead of your normal spoolie, you've got this sort of brush, which I don't mind, but I prefer a spoolie. Just because I feel like it just combs through all the hairs and it reaches the skin a bit better. I feel like this is quite harsh. I don't know, not my favorite. I think something like this is really, really good for when you're using powder on the brows rather than a pencil, but that's just my personal opinion. So as for the tip, this is crazy because I genuinely thought that the Fenty one was so thin, but look at the difference between the Huda Beauty one and the Fenty one. That is just insane. So I have the shade dark brown, and I'm actually just gonna swatch Huda Beauty's one. So Huda Beauty's rich brown is actually darker than Fenty Beauty's dark brown. I feel like I had to go in quite a lot to build up that color, whereas Huda's is definitely darker. That's that one. Okay. So I think when you're using it, you'd have to sort of build up the pencil a little bit more, whereas the Huda one, you're just gonna get pigment straight off. Also, this isn't to say that the Fenty one isn't good. I still love it, But I'm just picking a favorite here, you know? We just want to play the game. We're going to play the game. Let's move on to Benefit's Precisely My Brow Pencil. This was one of my favorites for such a long time, and it is a goodie because the reason I loved it was because of the fine tip. But now in comparison, Huda Beauty's one is still taking the win, and I didn't realize how thick the Precisely My Brow Pencil is, like, in comparison. Like, that's just crazy. Now this Benefit one is instantly a lot darker. Like, in terms of pigment, I would say that this Benefit Precisely My Brow definitely beats Huda out the water in terms of it being really dark pigment. And I used the shade 5 in this. If I just show you the comparison, that's Huda Beauty and that is the Benefit one, and you can just see. But now I definitely still prefer using this Huda Beauty shade, but in terms of packing pigment on, the Benefit one definitely does that a lot quicker than the Huda one. In terms of ease of use, which one is better? 100%. I'm going with Huda again. For sure, for sure, for sure. And then finally, let's compare it to the famous Brow Wiz. So I love this so much. I love the shade of this. I use dark brown in this one. If we just compare the pencils, Brow Wiz is definitely slightly thicker, but it's definitely thinner than the Benefit Precisely My Brow, and probably the Fenty one too. If I had to pick one, if I was gonna spend my money on a high-end brow pencil, I think now comparing all of them, I would go for one of these two. But for me personally, I think Huda, it just takes the win out of all of them, because I feel like, especially where I like to draw hairs in at the front, it's given me the most natural look. When you want to draw fine hairs, it's just going to give you fine hairs, and no one wants thick, clumpy clumperson at the front. And this is the ABH one. I mean, see, they're not far off, but I feel like you get a thinner. It's a really, really minor difference, but it is a difference. And then also, in terms of shades, I feel like this Huda one is closest to the Anastasia Beverly Hills one as well. So yeah, these two are definitely my favorites out of the popular high-end brow pencils. And as you can tell from this video, Huda Beauty Bomb Brows is bomb. She didn't lie. She didn't lie. I think this is great for anyone that needs to shape their brows in more detail, or someone that wants to draw in fine lines and like hair strokes. It's just going to give you the most natural look and feel. Obviously, all the other brow pencils that I've mentioned, they are great. I love them, but I've now found something that I love even more, and I'm gonna have to stock up on this. I just am. So yeah, I really hoped you enjoyed this review and this comparison. Let me know in the comments section which brow pencil is your favorite, and if you've tried the Huda Beauty one, let me know what your thoughts are on that as well, because I would love to know. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you liked the comparison, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button, join the family, get me on TikTok, get me on the gram. Everything will be linked down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye.